let's go to wide receiver. I think this is a sleeper need for the 49ers. They have good wide receivers, but to me, they don't have a deep threat. And like a legit 4-3 guy. It was like Travis Benjamin, and before that it was Marquise Goodwin. It seems like something Kyle wants, but didn't have because of Jimmy. And now that Trey's here, it feels like it's something they should invest in. I don't know. That's the way I look at it. So the wide receivers I'm going to be looking at are like legit 4-3 guys. Who are the ones that you think the Niners should be looking at in day two?
All right, so this guy is not a 4-3, but he did originally test as a 4-3-3 at the combine. Once the official times came out, he ran a 4-4-1. Shows plenty of speed. He's able to win vertically down the field. He can do 50-50 catches, or he can win with speed. But that is Alec Pierce, a receiver out of Cincinnati. Now, I think –
and this Cincinnati team was loaded. Wow. Yeah, Cincinnati. Sorry, go ahead. Wow.
Yeah, they had a lot of guys. Wow. So I think Alec Pierce would work best out of this slot, and he'd be terrific. He'd be the best pure slot receiver the 49ers have. Right now, they do some of the slot stuff with Juwan Jennings. Well, just imagine if Juwan Jennings actually had vertical speed to beat defenders and is able to separate more with routes underneath. I think Alec Pierce brings you all of that. I'm not saying it just because he's a white guy, but he really
I didn't even know he was a white guy.
Yeah, he's a white guy. He has a very similar skill set as Cooper Kupp, where he's big slot because he's 6'2", 211 pounds. He moves very well. When I was at the Senior Bowl watching him, I'm like, damn, he's definitely more twitched up than what I was expecting to see, especially watching him live. But he's a guy who I think in a slot, he would kill it, or just tight condensed formations that the 49ers like to run. I think he'd do extremely well. He'd be the fastest receiver that the 49ers have, at least on paper, from kind of the main guys, and it brings you much more than Juwan Jennings. Now, you hear Fred Warner talk about Juwan Jennings and Richard Sherman. They raved about him. I am not quite seeing that, but I think Alec Pierce definitely gives you much more as a big slot receiver.
Averaging 17.5 yards per catch for his career at Cincinnati. That's exactly the kind of guy the Niners don't have on their team. I love it. Alec Pierce, that would be round 2.
That would be round 2.
That would be round 2. All right, that's a great name. If he's there at 61, he could be the best player available. Anyone else you like?
So I do like Calvin Austin out of Memphis. Now, he's smaller. He's 5'8". He's 170 pounds. He was a guy who, going to the Senior Bowl, people were like, hey, look out for Calvin Austin. I had no idea what he looked like. I had no idea how big he was, how small he was, how fast he was. Nothing. I just went in, and he was one of my focus players, him and, Alec Pierce. But right away when I watched him, and I know 49 fans, they're going to want a big guy because, you don't have a lot of size with Ayuk or Debo in the sense of height.
Sure.
They're both a shade under 6 foot. He's much further down than 6 foot at 5'8". But, I mean, they could not guard him. They couldn't guard him in the slot. They couldn't guard him on the outside. They couldn't guard him playing off. They couldn't guard him playing press. I mean, he beat them every which way possible. He beat them with routes. He beat them with speed. I mean, it was very impressive. If not for Christian Watson, who had a tremendous performance at the Senior Bowl week, Calvin Austin, he was my second best receiver for sure. So again, 49er fans, I see it in the chat right now, too small. Couldn't tell at the Senior Bowl. He killed everybody.
Also, it's like if you want a wide receiver with size and speed, those guys go in round 1. Like you want Christian Watson. Do you understand how expensive it would be for the Niners to Christian Watson isn't dropping past pick 40, 6'4", 4.3 speed. Like everyone wants that.
Now there might be, if you do want someone who's probably going to be there, who has some decent size, has contested catch ability, and he ran the fastest 40 at the combine for receivers. It was Thornton out of Baylor. And I know there's going to be some parallels to Denzel Mims. I don't think they're similar. I think he showed a little bit more twitch to them. Definitely can work on the top of his routes.
Did he run a 4.28?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he plays every bit as fast as he ran his 40. I mean, he is a blazer. He's 6'2", about 180 pounds. So he has slight build, but still has size. I thought he was really good at contested catches. I was really surprised by that because sometimes with these speed guys, they depend so much on that. They don't develop like the legit ball tracking skills, but he was good at all that. Again, can work more on his at the top of routes. But even then, short areas, thought he was good. Turned around some cornerbacks on slants. Even in short areas like near the end zone, they had him run like just this crosser, and he just separated by 5 yards right away. I think Thornton, that's a guy who I think he'll be there at 61. So, that's a guy to look forward to.
But I'm sold on the first two guys you named, Alec Pierce and Calvin Austin. Like they just became my draft crushes right now. They're like totally on the opposite ends of the spectrum for wide receivers. One's 6'3", one's 5'8", but they're both fast. And what I like about Calvin Austin is he returns kicks too. He has 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. Ray McCloud has 0 in his career. I think this guy would be really cool. It seems like Calvin Austin, I don't know if he'll be there at 93. They might have to trade up a little bit for him, but what a great pick that would be. Calvin Austin or Pierce.
It brings a different dynamic than what the 49ers have. They're missing 2 things. Obviously, they're missing that vertically just speed guy with size, or just a pure speedster like a Jakeem Grant, who might be undersized, but man, you just get the ball in his hands in space, or you could throw the ball downfield to him, or again, like you said, it brings a special teams aspect to things.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken Martin says Taekwon Thornton, wide receiver, 4.2 speed, 6'2", deep threat, can play slot, also great blocker. That was a good sleeper one. I like that one.
Yeah, I like him.
I'm most excited about. I like scouting wide receivers every year. It's that and quarterback probably the most fun. And I'm glad that the Niners have a need this year, so it gives us an excuse to look.
We think they have a need, but most fans are like, "Oh no, they're fine there." And I'm like, man, like to me, they seem very slim there.
Extremely. And the fact that they just went after Ray McCloud makes me feel like they're everyone says this is a special class of wide receivers. They should want a piece of it. I think that they're gonna dip their toes into it. Re-sign Dante Pettis for the deep threat. You know, whatever was up with Dante Pettis. Dante Pettis never really could run. I'd like them to go for a guy who can freaking run really fast. They haven't
one guy that could really just fly in and jump off. That's Thornton. And on film, you see his quarterback underthrow him several times. I mean, he was easily getting behind defenders.
Ken says, Grant, I've been telling you about Taekwon Thornton and Jerry and Ely RB3 speedster dual threat punt returner. You have.